We have a $2 super chat here from Bragi. Says, I feel more went right than wrong. We are better. So, PD, let's pick it up there with the Blackhawks' first goal of the season. Teuvo Teravainen, assisted by Connor Bedard. Here is the breakdown.
This play starts with Martinez going behind the net. And Martinez does a really good job of using the net to protect the puck and keep it away from the Utah forecheckers. So as they get beyond the net, Martinez has beaten the forecheck. Now they're going up the ice, and Utah makes a really bad line change. 2 players change as the puck goes by. So the Utah forecheckers in the neutral zone are late getting up the ice, which leaves a lot of room for the best player on the ice, Connor Bedard. Bedard gets the puck at the red line, and he looks to the inside. When he looks to the inside, he freezes the Utah defenseman Sergachev, and he stops dead in his tracks. Well, when he does that, Bedard uses his skill and his speed to get by the Utah defender. Again, just that quick look off to the middle, froze the defenseman, allows Bedard to use his speed to get to the outside. And as Bedard drives the net inside the offensive zone, that pulls the back checker of the Utah Hockey Club towards him. Teravainen recognizes that, and he sees there's going to be an opening up in the ice. He's going to see that Schmaltz goes in front of him. He sees the opening, and as they get up the ice, he's got that hole in the middle of the ice all to himself. And then the high-skilled Bedard protects the puck, keeps the puck to the outside, doesn't allow the stick of the Utah defender to get on his stick, and he makes an unbelievable pass between the skates and the stick of the outreached Schmaltz, right on the stick of Teravainen. And then here's the move that creates the goal. As the goaltender's momentum pulls him to the right, Teravainen's momentum pulls him to the right. So they're going in opposite directions, which allows Teravainen to slip a beautiful shot up and over Connor Ingram. And the Chicago Blackhawks get their first goal of the 2024 season.
Great stuff, as always, PD. And you mentioned earlier in the show, Bedard's IQ. I think you mentioned how he protects the puck by keeping it out wide of himself. Also, I think goalies have learned, too, about Bedard's ability to manipulate the angle of his shots. So are they also giving him a lot more respect than maybe they would other players because of that ability?
I think you're going to have to. And I think what those goaltenders in the National Hockey League have learned is his ability to shoot from the puck in tight to his body and away from his body. So you have to, you're going to see goalies standing further back in the net. You're going to give Connor Bedard a little bit more room because you're not quite sure where he's going to be shooting from. He's got one of those releases that's really sneaky. And I tell you what, not a big guy. I'm sure you've talked about that on the show, but his release is so unique. We talk about Austin Matthews' ability to pull the puck in and make those tight releases. I think Connor Bedard is very deceiving on his ability to move the puck. And he's also, from that angle, Ingram's got to play Bedard as a shot there. Like Bedard's wide open, all alone on the dot. Ingram's got to be thinking shot. And again, the little details in Bedard's game. He looked off Sergachev in center ice, but he's also looking at Ingram. And Ingram's thinking, okay, he's looking at me, this is a shot. And I think, again, it buys a little bit more time for Teuvo Teravainen. And I saw someone in the chat saying they're going to miss the Kurashev-Bedard magic. Just wait. This is one game with Teravainen and Bedard. If they are able to stay together, and you guys mentioned new lines, hopefully these two stay together because I really believe that this connection is going to be outstanding. And it's something that Connor Bedard really lacked last year, is a really experienced offensive guy that can give him a little bit more options in the offensive zone.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I talked about on the post-game show years ago, a hockey scout told me that your lines aren't necessarily 3 players. It's duos. You find a duo that works really well, and it doesn't really matter who that third player is. You can interchange, play matchups, all that stuff. So I said, we've been hearing the whole you shouldn't take away Kurashev from Bedard all preseason and into the year. And I said, well, Bedard and Teuvo look like they got something cooking. That could be your duo number 1. And Kurashev and Hall, starting in that second period, look like there's another real nice duo for the Hawks. So do you kind of agree with that assessment? If those pair of duos click, then the Hawks actually have a real top 6 in this league for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, your comment is dead bang on. Like, I used to be in the coach's room when you'd start to put lines together in training camp with the Coyotes, and you always do it in groups of two. You look for which two guys have the chemistry. And we just had the Utah show, and it was Gunther and Cooley. Those two are together, and it's Schmaltz and Keller. Those two are together, and it takes time to find that third piece that's really going to click with them. I like what Chicago has done with their top two lines, and I think you have to split up some of these skilled players for the Blackhawks. It was too easy to defend Chicago a year ago. It was just too easy. You put out your best checking line against Bedard, which you're still going to do, but guess what? Coming over the boards on the next shift is going to be Bertuzzi, Kurashev, and Hall, and they're not going to be easy to defend either. Hall still has an incredible burst of speed, and we saw it in the third period against Utah. So I think, again, it's one of those things you can say there are some bright spots coming for this season's Chicago Blackhawks, and I think they are going to have a little bit more offensive push than they did a year ago.
I want to go back to the goal for a second. What I thought was a bit interesting was how Sergachev played Bedard, and you said you kind of got froze on it, but I wonder if did he give him too much respect for speed and not try and play him physically, or was he just flat out burned on the play on a bad read? Because I felt like when I was watching that, I felt like Bedard's about to get obliterated, but he got by him.
See, I the right play right now, there's a 3-on-2. When Sergachev looks up the ice, that's a 3-on-2. He's got to back up. He's got to play that defensive. He's got to skate backwards and let the play come at him. It's a 3-on-2 at the blue line. He cannot attack the puck carrier there, put himself in a really bad position. So I don't know if as he's making the move, he goes, uh-oh, I'm in trouble because there comes Bedard and his speed, and now I'm stuck. But I'm with you. I thought he was going to light him up, and I thought he was going to light him up big at the red line, and it could have been a big hit. So is he respectful of the young talented player going, gosh, if I lay into him, we're going to be in trouble all night long, and they're going to be coming after our good players? I don't think so. I think he was just surprised, one, at the speed coming at him at that moment, and he realized he was stuck, and he put on the brakes trying. By then, it's too late. Like, I don't know if Sergachev had the intent at that point to light up Bedard. And keep in mind, too, how much hockey Sergachev missed at the end of last season with a broken leg. I mean, it's a severe injury, and I say what you want to, but coming back from an injury like that, your physical meter and getting involved and being a real physical player backs off quite a bit when you've had a severe injury like that. So all those things considered, Sergachev got to play it better. He just has to. I don't care if it's Connor Bedard or Connor McDavid or who you're coming back against. You have to play that play better. And I don't think they were happy with Sergachev's play in game number 1 with the Utah Hockey Club.
All right. I know you got the shot chart you want to share, but real quick, a couple people have noted, there are times in the game where Connor Bedard just doesn't have the puck. And that was the first period. We have a comment from Borodin in the chat saying Bedard was floating yet again. Ben Pope during the first period pointed out that Utah wasn't even using their top checking line against Connor Bedard, and they still didn't really generate much. He's such a unique player. Is that something that fans are going to have to get used to with him, or is Bedard going to have to find a way to control the puck more? And how can a guy with his size and physical stature, win more pucks and control it more often?
Well, if you look at when Sidney Crosby first came into the league too, I mean, he was not a big guy. He's bigger now, and his base is really strong. But there are smaller players that can control the puck and play the game offensively. I think one of Connor Bedard's problems, and it's not a problem, the way he sees the game, he's anticipating the next play. I liken it to when Gretzky used to talk about it. Hey, the puck's going to be there. I think when you're seeing Connor Bedard away from the puck, you're saying, okay, he's floating or he's not in the right place. When he's thinking, hey, this is where the puck's coming, I think his hockey IQ is going, okay, I'm gonna get to this spot because that's where the puck is going to come. And sometimes he leaves the defensive zone too early because I think he's anticipating the puck getting to that area of the ice. He's anticipating a turnover. And I think, again, we talked about that chemistry between line mates. It's going to take time for people to understand, okay, Connor Bedard's going to be here. And I do think that's going to make a difference. I have never questioned Connor Bedard's work ethic meter. I think he's incredibly, he's not floating. And there are guys that are selfish hockey players. He is not one of them. I think it's something that when his play away from the puck, he's actually a very strong two-way, 200-foot player. I just think it's going to take time for his line mates to realize where the heck he's going to be. As far as him possessing the puck more, it is those little details of protecting the puck. He's going to have to learn to make those quick movements so he's not being physically engaged. Because right now the defense in this league are starting to get bigger again. They went smaller, but you're seeing a lot more big defensemen. You know, Zadorov, I just watched in Boston the other day. His reach on Connor Bedard is going to be a problem, and his size. So Connor Bedard is going to have to be able to get those quick in tight movements, which he's, again, incredibly quick, gifted skater. But at some point, the pass might be the better play, and he'll get the puck back. I think it's still a learning curve for Connor Bedard, but the biggest thing for him offensively is getting used to his teammate, Teuvo Teravainen, because this duo could be special, honestly, for years to come.
All right, you had a shot chart you wanted to share, so let's throw that up on the screen and let PD cook.
And this is one of the things I want to talk about with Chicago as the game went on. And one of the things we always talk about inside the coach's room is, can you get the puck to the inside? And Chicago, I think, even with Connor Bedard last year, you saw a lot of perimeter play, shots from outside the dot. And when it did get inside, it was one and done. What you saw from this team in the last 35, 40 minutes of the game is their ability to get inside and get unbelievable opportunities in tight. They have 9 scoring chances from inside the inner slot, from the danger area. That's above what the NHL average is, which is incredible for a team that has really struggled to create offense. And you're talking about posts. We talked about those earlier. Taylor Hall got on a breakaway. Smith off the post. Really good chance by Bertuzzi. I think these things, again, if you can continue to get the puck to that area of the ice where you see right around the net, the inner slot area where that big jump is, right where the 2 green goals are, if you can get the puck to that area consistently at the league average, which is 8 or above in that era, this is a big, big bright spot for the Chicago Blackhawks. Like I was so encouraged to see them being able to get the puck to that area of the ice, because they couldn't do that a year ago. They really struggled to get those kind of opportunities. And then what do? They deferred to getting the puck back to the point, and then shots from the point, and then hopefully they can get a rebound and some tips and screens and traffic. This year, it looked like they were able to get those shots from inside the house. And again, so I know what fan bases are like. Season's over. Like, we lost to Utah, and they're Utah. But as this game went on, that to me was the biggest positive from the Chicago Blackhawks team, was their ability to get really good scoring chances from there. And it wasn't just Connor Bedard. You know, it was Smith. It was all of these other names. And I think that, again, shows you might be able to have some secondary offense for a Chicago Blackhawks team as the season goes on.
We all silly like the mayor.